Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I am a 6-year homeschooling mom of 3, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what we are currently using at this point in the homeschool year. So I actually made a video about my 4th graders curriculum. I never got around to making my kindergartners, so if you're interested in what we're using for kindergartners, stay till the end of the video. But I'm going to be doing my 4th grader first and kind of updating you on some of the things that we are still using, that we're not using, and that we're modifying. Alright, so let's start with reading. I believe in that video I said that we were doing independent reading and novel studies. So that is currently what we are doing, but it was a process getting to that. We were not ready for independent reading and novel studies right out of the gate. So we kind of worked our way up to that. If you guys want a separate video on the things that we were struggling with at the beginning of the year and how we overcame those things to get where we're at now, I can do a video for you guys on that. Just let me know down in the comments. But basically, I think I was throwing a lot at him and I just needed to chill and back off a little bit, and then we slowly worked our way up to where we are now. So he is currently, we're kind of just going back and forth. I had a couple of things. We did Charlotte's Web, and then we're just kind of doing whatever he's interested in, like certain chapter books that he's interested in reading or ones that I think he'll really like. We're also doing ones that are coinciding with our unit. He's currently reading this book right here, and then he's answering comprehension and vocabulary questions to go with this. We are also working our way through these. These are the climbing ladders from The Good and the Beautiful. I believe it's level 3, I'm pretty sure. I'll link it down below. It's a free download, and so I literally just got it and I just used the climbing ladders. So these are a lot of the words that are, if you use All About Reading, what you would call leap words. They're words that don't really follow a rule necessarily. So for writing and grammar, this is what we started the year out with. The first half of the book is grammar, the second half of the book is writing. And I went with this because I had heard that this was a little bit similar to IEW in the way that it's a really strong writing program, but it's not as kind of rigorous as IEW tends to be. A lot of people said that they did not like the grammar portion, and that proved to be true. He was not a fan of the grammar at all. So I thought that I would shelve this and come back to it the second half of the year. And I ended up watching a video by Carla Cannon, and I just started watching all of her IEW videos, and I really actually fell in love with IEW. And so I ordered it, and he is doing amazing with it. I will link her videos down below because I think everybody who is considering IEW needs to watch those videos. I don't even know what to say. It's just been such a huge difference. So a lot of people on YouTube, this is the one that we're using. It is the Bible Heroes. This is written, I believe, for like 1st and 2nd graders. I would not use this with a 1st or 2nd grader. I actually watched, again, Carla Cannon's video about this, and she was using it for like a 3rd or 4th grader. It's adaptable up to 5th grade. So I don't think a 3rd, 4th, or even 5th grader using this would be a bad thing at all. And here's the deal. This is just like, with programs like Essentials in Writing, it's very much a traditional approach to writing, whereas IEW really breaks it down, and it can be overwhelming. I understand that. So you are supposed to go through like a parent course, or you're supposed to get the one where he teaches all of the lessons. But a lot of people said that if you just get this, it's an MP3 recording. I got the DVD because I'm a very visual learner. So I got this and I watched the first few like chapters or whatever you want to call it to get us through the first few weeks of school with this, and you guys, it has been such a change. And I know I'm kind of in that like new boyfriend stage with this curriculum, so I don't want to like give it a full review yet, but he is doing so well. So the first couple of lessons, you're doing a keyword outline, so you're just picking 3 words out of each sentence for a paragraph, and then you're writing a paragraph on your own, and then you're going in and kind of revising it. That's where we're at this point. We're only on step 2 of this. This is the first paper that he wrote. So here's his rough draft, and then here's the paper that he wrote. And it was kind of interesting because I gave him his rough draft, or I gave him his keyword outline and said, okay, You're gonna use your keyword outline to go write a paragraph, fully expecting him to go in the other room and come back at 5 minutes and be like, I don't know what to do. He came back with an entire paragraph written down. My mind was totally blown. Kids have a hard time processing what they want to say and putting it on paper. And with this program, he has been able to get his thoughts down on paper. Now I've seen this run over into science. I've seen this run over into social studies. I've seen this run over into Bible. If I say, okay, what did we just read? Can you summarize it? He used to have a really hard time. We would kind of talk about it. I would model it on the whiteboard and he would just copy it down. I don't have to do that anymore. It's crazy. Totally crazy. I definitely recommend you watch her videos, and you can download samples on their website. But all the people that are like, IEW is amazing, I'm in that camp now. I always kind of thought, you know what? I fell for that with a lot of other curriculums. They were overrated or didn't work for us. This one, amazing. So I mentioned to you guys that I did not love the grammar in Essentials in Writing. And so what I did was I really went back and forth. Do I want to go back to Language Lessons by Master Books, because he actually did really, really well with that program? Or do I want to try something else like Fix It Grammar from IEW? Or I wasn't sure. So I ended up kind of finding something that has been working so well for him. And this is from, it's called The Mailbox. And again, I will link it down below. But they just have for each topic, they have 3 hands-on activities, worksheets, or whatever. So what we do at the beginning of the week, we get one of these books from the library for whatever topic it is. So this one I just grabbed off the shelf is question marks, because we're reviewing punctuation this week. So if you were a question mark, and these are really cute books if you've never seen them before, you can see there. So if you were a question mark, you would wonder many things. Did someone steal Sophie's cupcake? When? Who saw the thief? What else could you do if you were a question mark? So we will read this. We will find a YouTube video kind of demonstrating that concept. He obviously knows what a question mark is, but some of the other ones that were a little bit tougher for him. And then we do the worksheets for that corresponding week. So this is one he did on synonyms, where all you had to do was circle the 2 synonyms in the star, and then at the bottom you write a synonym for each uncircled word. So the word that he didn't circle, he had to write a synonym for. This is one he did today. This was reviewing all of the punctuation we've learned. So he had to pick which ones were incorrect, which ones were correct, and then he had to cut them out and paste them and then fix the ones that weren't. So he's actually really liking these. They're ebooks, so you literally just download them and then print them off as you need them. So I've kind of been going back and forth to correlate with IEW because I think there were some things that he needed to learn first in order to be able to start that. There's also some things that I wanted him to definitely learn this year, or go over some concepts that maybe he struggled with a little bit in the past. We also like to use the Farrah Hennison packs that you can get from her, and we use those kind of as reviews. So we'll print them out and assemble them, and we'll just kind of keep them in a bin. And then on Fun School Fridays, we'll just pull them out, whichever one he wants to work on, and then we kind of do that. That is what we're doing for grammar. So he's still doing Explode the Code. Honestly, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like at this point, he's past Explode the Code. I realize that, but I think going through these is just kind of reiterating things. It's good for spelling, and I mean, he really enjoys them, and there's something he can work on independently. And the more things he can work on independently, the more he kind of builds up that confidence that he can do things independently. So he finished 5, and then I'm sure he's gonna finish 6. I'm not sure that I'm gonna purchase 7 or 8. I really don't think he needs them. He does enjoy them, and they are fun for him, but I don't think they're super necessary. But he is doing these a couple pages a day. Spelling, yes, we're still doing sequential spelling. You guys, I think people hate sequential spelling, and it makes me so sad. I watched a video, when I bought this off of eBay for like $6 or $7, I watched a video of the person who created this, and he shows you exactly how you are supposed to do each lesson. And I don't think people are doing that. If you hate sequential spelling and you did it 100% correctly, let me know down in the comments and I will apologize. But I really think a lot of people just don't know how they are supposed to do this. This is designed for people with dyslexia or other learning disabilities that have a hard time seeing the sequence of words. So he is doing really well. I think we're on we don't do it, I think you're supposed to do it 4 days a week, and we do it, some weeks we do it 2 or 3 days, some weeks we do it 4 or 5 days a week. He's on the 112th day. So we're just about done with this book. And so he doesn't love it. It's not his favorite thing in the whole world, but he's spelling and he's doing a good job. And you know, the biggest issue we used to have was spelling tests. He used to hate spelling tests. We're still doing sequential spelling. I am on the fence about if I'm gonna get sequential spelling 2 though. I'm not sure, because again, he is not a huge fan of it. I see the benefit of it. It's up in the air, but for right now, sequential spelling is working and it's going good. Oh, I shared this one in my other curriculum haul. He just started this one. I did actually end up purchasing the Good and the Beautiful. I think it was level 3, which was beginning cursive. I still didn't think he was ready to do copy work of cursive yet. I still think he could probably use a little bit of tracing practice, but he's doing pretty well. So we're just gonna finish this book, and then I think he really wants me to get the Good and the Beautiful next level. So he might be in level 5. By then he might be able to skip level 4, but he really loves the Good and Beautiful handwriting. But this is currently what we're doing for handwriting, and so it's just copy work, scriptures, and we're just going through it. Nothing exciting there. So I shared this in my other curriculum video. This is the Gospel Project for kids. It is either a family Bible study or a homeschool one. We were using it for homeschool. It comes with a DVD, it comes with a teacher's guide, and then it comes through a K through 2 and a 3 through 5 workbook. So that was perfect for us because I have a kindergartner and a 4th grader. We made it through probably the first 8 weeks, and then we really hit a lull. And so I was like, all right, we'll just shelve it for a while. We were doing our indescribable devotionals and just memorizing scripture and getting different Bible, you know, Bibles and Bible studies and devotionals from the library. And then I was like, you know what, I really want to get this back out, and I really want to try to dive into this again. And I think the reason it wasn't working for us is because it went a little too deep. I know that's kind of weird for me to say, that it went too deep for a Bible study, but it kind of did. For a kindergartner and a 4th grader with attention and focus issues, it was just a lot of discussion, a lot of talking. They loved the videos, they loved the activities. I really loved the, like, you know, just open discussion of what we're learning about in the Bible. But for instance, the story of Joseph is 3 weeks long, 5 days a week. So you're literally doing 15 days of the story of Joseph. It was just kind of like long-winded. So we are just watching the videos and then doing activities that either I find from Pinterest or Teachers Pay Teachers or even just in the workbook. And that is what we're doing. So we took Joseph from 3 weeks to 1 week. Okay, so that has been so much better. I feel like they're definitely retaining a lot more. We're still using the teacher's guide for like review questions, and while they're doing the activity, I will play the audio version of the scripture on my phone. I think that's going so much better. I already purchased semesters 2 through 4. This is semester 1. If you remember, I got 2 through 4 for the same price that I got 1. So I have all of them, and I'm like, I'm just gonna use them. We'll just kind of go back and forth. If we want to work on something else, like for instance, in April, we're going to be doing Holy Week and kind of digging deeper into that. So we'll probably pause this for a little bit, but I really like this curriculum. But I definitely think if I went back and we did it again, I would just buy the DVDs and maybe the teacher's manual, because I think there is a lot of good ideas in there. They have a lot of really good questions, but I probably wouldn't follow it word for word because it is just really long-winded and it kind of went over my kid's head. But at the same time, I think the stuff that we have done so far has been really good, just a little bit too much for them. So for math, we are still using BJU Math 3, and it's going pretty good. We did hit a section where he was really struggling a little bit, and so we took a break and we did the level 3 of teaching textbooks. which he really loved. And so then for a while, we were kind of going back and forth between the two. So he took a little break from BJU, maybe a week or two, and he was doing teaching textbooks, and he was doing like 3 lessons a day. He really liked it. And then we hit a point in teaching textbooks where he like was getting confused with that. And so then we kind of are just doing straight BJU right now. So I think once we like take a little break from school or something like that, maybe we'll get back on to teaching textbooks, or maybe we'll do it this summer, kind of once he's already covered that in BJU, because they do have different scopes and sequences. So what you're learning at the beginning of teaching textbooks might be what you're learning at the end of BJU. So they don't perfectly coincide, but I think it's kind of good for him to have 2 different math, like to hear it from 2 different perspectives and have 2 different kind of ways of thinking, I guess you could say. So that's kind of what we're doing. So we're still doing BJU. I actually already purchased on eBay the teacher's manual for 4 because I know we're going to be doing BJU 4 next year. He still loves it. He does a front and back page a day, and we're just moving right along with it. So for math, we are also doing our flashcards. I talked about how I got the addition and subtraction ones in my other video. Well, I ended up getting the multiplication one. So we practiced our addition ones, and he got to the point where I felt like he was doing pretty well. He was doing extra math. He was doing teaching textbooks, and they were practicing their addition facts there. Then he started getting into multiplication, and so now we're starting to do these. So he's mastered 0, 10s, 1s, 2s, and now he's working on 5s, and he's doing pretty well. I think in another week or 2, he'll probably have mastered those. So we're just moving right along with the flashcards. I've also been trying to add in tons and tons and tons of games. So this is one that I think I got for free. I think it's from the Measured Mom. I'll link it down below. And then I also bought a couple game packs on Teachers Pay Teachers. To me, it's so much easier to store things on my computer and print them out as I need them, even if I have to laminate them and store them, rather than buying big, huge boxed games that cost like $20. I'd rather buy a whole bunch of different games, you know, for $5 or $10 on Teachers Pay Teachers, and then just print them out as I use them, and then store them for later or review, or for when my other kids need them. So that's just kind of what we do. And so this is actually one that he's working on his 5s, and he can actually do this one by himself. So it's just bingo. So he rolls a dice, he moves his little game piece, answers the question, plays the bingo. So he does this about 3 times every day, and he really, really loves these. I think I got these for free, and the other ones I paid for, but he prefers these better. So maybe try the free ones first. Let's talk about social studies. So I think I mentioned in that video that I had purchased a 4th grade pack from Heart to Heart Teaching on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I love history, okay? And I especially love early American history. It was my favorite time period. I was in honors world history, and I don't hardly remember anything about world history because I love early American history so much. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is my year, right? But he was not a fan. So when I bought those packs, the way that they were laid out, which is super great, by the way, is that she actually has done all the prep work for you. So she has like weeks 1 through 4, and then it's doing it 5 days a week. And with that, since we do it 3 days a week, it ended up working out to about 6 weeks, which was perfect because we do school 6 weeks on, 1 week off. So I was like, great, every unit will be a new thing, and we'll just get them all done. It'll be fantastic. It didn't happen, y'all. The first 6 weeks, he was bored out of his gourd, and I was like, oh my gosh, like why? So I had to change it up, because here's the deal. If he's bored and he doesn't like it, he does not retain it, and it is a battle every single day. I get it. Sometimes things are boring. Sometimes we have to do things in life that we don't like. But as homeschoolers, and especially in 4th grade, we can be flexible and we can really dive deep into his interests. I would rather him know a ton about, you know, a few things than a tiny little bit about 100 things, right? I don't know. That's just the way that I look at it. So he was really interested in George Washington, and so instead of doing a whole Revolutionary War 6-week unit like I planned, we did a 2-week George Washington unit study. So that means we got a bunch of books about George Washington, we got a couple books about the Revolutionary War, and when you talk about George Washington, you're gonna naturally talk about presidency, the Revolutionary War, slavery, Virginia. We were talking about all of those things, and he retained more in 2 weeks talking about George Washington than he did in 6 weeks talking about the 13 colonies and the Revolutionary War. I'm just saying. So then we started doing other unit studies he was interested in. We did like a Daniel Boone, we did like a whole study on Legos, we did for science. We're kind of switching back and forth between science and social studies. So basically the way that we were doing it is, if it's a really heavy science topic, I'm trying to figure out ways to add social studies in. So when we talked about oceans, we talked a lot about geography, different like people like Eugenie Clark, Jacques Cousteau, you know, just adding in social study elements. Now we are currently doing Black history, and so we are doing George Washington Carver, we're doing Ruby Bridges, Rosa Parks, and Bessie Coleman. So for George Washington Carver, we're doing botany, and for Bessie Coleman, we're doing aviation. Last month we did space, so we did a lot about space, and we talked about geography, and we talked about where the different, you know, space centers are in the United States, and we talked about Katherine Johnson, and we talked about Mae Jemison, and so we're kind of just combining the two. So for the rest of the year, we currently have planned, we want to do an Abraham Lincoln study, and we're going to talk briefly about the Civil War and the Underground Railroad and all that stuff. We're not going to get super deep into those because I want to do those as their kind of like own separate unit, maybe in a year or so. And then we're going to do weather, and we're going to do insects, and so that's what we're doing. We're doing unit studies, and we love it. So we're spending about 2-ish weeks on each unit. We tried 1 week, and that didn't seem enough, and 1 month seemed like too much, and it feels weird for me to do a unit study for 3 weeks when a month is usually 4 weeks. So we just get lots of books from the library, we watch videos. I have a ton of these from the, I think it's called Project-Based Learning with L. Madison. I'll put the link down below, but I think that's what it's called, and it is on Teachers Pay Teachers. And so this one's a different one right here, and this one I think. But he's doing tons of these trifold brochures, and he really loves them. And then I was like, next year we'll do the United States geography, but I'm like, why would we wait when we're talking about all of these people in American history now? So we're doing a state each week. So these are the ones that he's done so far. And I got this pack from the Crafty Classroom. And there's the map of all the ones we've done so far. So this week we're learning about George Washington Carver, so we're gonna be doing Missouri. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what's going on with it. So what we use for the state study is we have those sheets, and then we use these books. This is the United States America, a State-by-State Guide. This is what's actually recommended to use with the book, I believe, the sheets that I got from the Crafty Classroom. And then I actually got this Don't Know Much About the 50 States book. So he kind of goes back and forth to get the information from these. This one's really, really pretty. It's got really nice pages, like watercolor images, hand-drawn images, whatever you want to call it. And there's information in there. And so it has him like draw like mountains and water and all of that kind of stuff. And then this one is a little bit more, I think he likes this one better because the information's just presented a little bit more neatly. But so we kind of use both of these. And we also get these from the library every week. So this is a Mississippi alphabet, M for Magnolia. And these are really neat. He really loves picture books still, and I love picture books. And he can sit and focus on a picture book much longer than he can focus on me reading aloud from something. So just really, really cool books. And they have one for every state. So we get one every week, and I read this, and then he works on a sheet. We're kind of at the point now where he can do that independently. So like I said, for science, we're just kind of doing different units. So I got these, I think I'll link everything down below, okay? Just everything will be linked down below. But these are kind of like notebooking pages, and I've really liked these. It's by a fellow homeschool mom, and they're very affordable. And she has unit resource guides. You guys, you don't have to do any of the work for your unit study. it's amazing. And I think they perfectly coincide with the Good and the Beautiful Science, which we tried at the beginning of the year and we weren't fans of. Just saying, don't hate me. But so here's one he did on space, like just intro to space. Here's one he did on the solar system. Here's one he did on the sun. Here's one he did on Katherine Johnson. Then he did one on Mae Jemison as well. So that's kind of what we're doing. I'm trying to add in lots of hands-on activities as well. So we love to play Professor Noggin games, and we love to do different crafts and activities and experiments, and so we're just having a ton of fun. So my kindergartner does participate in our social studies and science, which are not like super required. K through 2, I try to focus mainly on reading, writing, and math. But since I do have a 4th grader that I'm doing it with anyway, my kindergartner likes to be involved. So he loves doing like the videos and the experiments and reading the books and all of that stuff. And usually the activities that I get for him are things like coloring pages. So this is one that he did this week on George Washington Carver. And this is one he did on the moon phases when we were doing space. So this is kind of more of the stuff that he does just so that he can feel like he's involved and he, you know, gets some type of hands-on activity. He does not do the state study with us because we do that on Fridays when he's in an enrichment class. My oldest did not want to participate in that this year, which is okay. So that is when I focus on doing state studies with him on Fridays. So, but other than that, my kindergartner joins us for pretty much everything: family study, Bible, social studies, science. Something else I wanted to share with you guys are these social skills games that we're working on. I talked to you in my other video about my 4th grader really needing to focus on social skills, things like anger management and just like taking turns, self-control. So I actually found this game bundle. So we will print out a new game every now and then and we will play it. So I have like our little box where I have all the little cards, and so there's one: you see a classmate fall down at recess. She can't get up. You want to tell an adult. Should you keep this thought in your head or let it come out? And that goes with the self-control board. So this is not only good for my 4th grader who has developmental issues, this is also good for my kindergartner who, these are just basic life skills. All right, so for my kindergartner, it's pretty straightforward. We are doing all about reading for him. We started the year off with Sing, Spell, Read, and Write, kindergarten book 1. My plan was to go to kindergarten book 2 and then start all about reading next year in 1st grade. But it was a little slow going for him, and so I just pulled this in like occasionally, like every couple of days to switch it up. And he actually is really liking this one a lot. So we're working at this really, really slowly. I think we started this back in October and we're only on lesson 16. So we're definitely working through this at quite a slow pace. Each lesson is taking us, depending on what it is, sometimes it takes us a day, sometimes it takes us 3 or 4 days, just totally depends. With Liam, we were able to fly through this a lot faster because he was in 2nd grade when we started. So he's going at the correct pace for a kindergartner, but that is what we're doing for that. We're still utilizing some of the Sing, Spell, Read, and Write things like the handwriting and the spelling aspect of it, some of the like cut and paste type stuff that comes with it, and their readers. And then we're also using our Bob books and the readers that come with this as well. So for math, we are using the interactive Math K from the Crafty Classroom. It's not my favorite, but we're gonna finish using it, and I might try, when my daughter's in kindergarten, I'll probably be looking for other options. It's a very open and go, open concept math. Some of it, I don't understand the order in which they're teaching things. So what we kind of do is we'll kind of talk about it, maybe watch a couple of YouTubes. He really likes Jack Hartman videos on YouTube, and so we'll watch those depending on what we're learning. So like for instance, this is find and circle touching numbers that you can use to make an addition sentence. Write the addition sentence on the line. So I just feel like we haven't really gone super in-depth with addition for him to be making addition lines. So things like these, I'm really having to kind of feed him exactly what he's looking for. Some of it's just a little bit over his head. But in general, he likes this curriculum. The way that they have it set up is that you kind of have like one, like more worksheet type thing, and then you have more of like a game or like a cut and paste type of activity or something like that. So like I said, it's not my favorite, but it's working for kindergarten math, and it is what it is. We're gonna finish it up, and we're gonna be using BJU Math 1 next year for him. Something we also do every day are these calendar pages. I think they're from 123 Homeschool for me, but he loves doing these every day. This is what I consider part of our math curriculum. So he's learning not only his months of the year, his days of the week, ordinal numbers, counting up to, you know, 31, 30 for February 28th. So yeah, he really, really loves doing these pages. And I like that they are tracing pages. So he's tracing his numbers as well. So for handwriting, we're just kind of doing whatever. This is a copy that I made on the back of his Sing Spell Read and Write book. And I just put it in a page protector, and then he would just use dry erase marker, and so he would practice doing all of his letters. Now I found these sheets for free on Pinterest, and they are just like the letter, and then you're practicing the letter, and then you're practicing words at the bottom. So now we're kind of getting to the point where he has enough stamina that he can start doing words and doing a little bit longer of pages. So he's just been doing one of these a day. Also, if we have something in Sing Spell Read and Write, he will, you know, just write that. Sometimes they'll say like, write the word hen, read the word hen, and then draw a picture of a hen, and he really likes those, but there's not very many of those. And then actually he just had a birthday, and so I actually created worksheet pages of thank you notes. So he was working on one of those a day. So we're just kind of doing whatever we come across. It's kindergarten, you know? We're just having fun. We're just learning. It's going great. I don't know what else to say about kindergarten, right? It's not super serious. If you've had more than one kid that you've homeschooled, you know that kindergarten is not that exciting. I mean, it's fun, and it's like so neat to see them learn something every day, but it's not that serious. Okay guys, so that is my mid-year homeschool curriculum update for 4th grade and kindergarten. Let me know down in the comments what you are currently using. Let me know how your year is going in the comments below, and I will see you guys there.